Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I have my thanks but I hate it feelings about some things that happen in the romance community, or just, terms that the romance community use. There's a lot of things that bother me sometimes in the romance community, but these are just some of the ones that I've been noting down because they actually make me cringe. Some of them are just, in fact, most of them are just terms that we use to talk about romance books. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes they just give me the ick. How many have I got? I've got 6. I figured 6 was a good number because I don't like going on rants very often. And I don't know if this is a rant so much as just but why? Why do we do this? So starting off, and this one has been my bugbear for the longest time, and it is reverse anything. So we talk a lot about tropes and things like that. Grumpy Sunshine, age gap, whatever. And then people like to put the word reverse in front of it when it no longer applies to the hero. I'm going to go on my rant about the patriarchy in a minute. We don't need to put the word reverse in front of anything. It's redundant. I mean, the biggest one is reverse harem, which is actually not a term we should be using. It is culturally appropriated. It is not a word that we should be applying in romance. We have plenty of other options now. Why choose polyamorous relationships, etc. We have better words to use. So that one is just out there because we don't need to use it. But I hate the term when it's applied to reverse age gap. So an age gap in a romance is when one partner is significantly older than the other, right? Usually it's applied when the hero is the older character. And so people love to throw it in front of it to say that the female is the older character. Now, I love those stories. I think those are great. We don't need to call it a reverse age gap. We can just say that it is an age gap with an older woman. Like, I know it's like 2 extra words, but is that really so hard to articulate? I didn't say it in the video, but I feel like it's implied that I would also prefer us to say age gap with an older man or an older hero or whatever, as well as age gap with an older woman, because let's just be specific about what we're actually talking about. Same thing with Grumpy Sunshine. Grumpy Sunshine refers to one of the characters in the book is a grump, one is the sunshine, happy character, and it's an opposites attract sort of romance, right? So why do we feel the need to call it a reverse Grumpy Sunshine when it's simply one character is the grump and one is the sunshine? It doesn't matter who is which. The trope is still the same. Can we please stop putting reverse in front of things to denote female, because it doesn't sit right. Like, just because it's a female character who is denoting a particular trait that you would normally assign to hero or male presenting character does not mean that we need to say that, oh, it's reverse. What are we, 5? Which then comes to my next little rant. And this one has been bothering me, and I heard it articulated again on a discussion panel hosted by Kelly Reynolds, who hosts the Boobies and Newbies podcast. They were doing a discussion around alpha heroes and whether or not, in this current day and age, we still want the same things from them that we have in the past. They got to a point in the conversation and they brought this up and I'm like, yes, I need to add this back to my list because it is a bugbear of mine. There's a lot of shorthand when we're talking about romance, and oftentimes it is, we'll simplify hero, heroine to capital H, lowercase h, with the hero getting the capital H. Why? Again, this comes back to patriarchy and I don't get it. Why do we do this? We don't need to. How hard is it to write hero and heroine? I know we're living in the social media and digital age, and maybe it makes me a dinosaur being a sort of elderish millennial, but why? Is it really hard to spell? Let's face it, in the current day of spell check and AI, you don't even have to type it out yourself anymore. So I think we can write the word. And I don't think we need to capitalize hero for any reason. It's not a proper noun. The next one I think is just me, and maybe because I feel like this has come from TikTok and I currently have an aversion to anything that comes out of the TikTok romance community, sort of. And that is using the word spice to talk about sex in books. I get it. Social media penalizes and doesn't like it when we use actual appropriate terms to talk about what we're talking about. And so we like to use euphemisms to get around the algorithm. Now, the reason the algorithm is the way it is because society has decided that these are not appropriate words to talk about, and so we have to use euphemisms, and it's an entire giant mess. But if you are talking about sex scenes in a book, I don't like the term spice. Spice is something that you put into your food dishes. Why are we talking about spice? I get it. People get awkward talking about sex. As someone who's on the asexual spectrum, I get that. I feel that deeply. Like, that is me many times. But in a book, you can talk about it being an open door sex scene, a closed door sex scene, partially open door sex scene. I personally prefer steamy as my preferred euphemism. To me, that makes more sense. I don't know. Spice just makes me think of food, and I don't have that association with sex scenes. So, as I said, it's probably just me. If you like using spice as your, the way that you denote how steamy a book is or how explicit the book is, in fact, I actually should probably start using explicit as my scale. Like, that would make more sense. If you like using spice as your rating system, that's fine. Just know that I'm probably skipping over that part of it because I'm like, I literally have a reaction when I hear it, which then brings me to sweet and closed door romances. Now, I actually don't have an issue with closed door romances, and I know that these terms are used specifically to denote occasionally specific things like Christian romances and whatever. But as I said before, I just prefer the terms open door, closed door, partially open door, fade to black, whatever. Like, I actually prefer those as descriptors than sweet or clean or whatever you want to call it, because I think it gives a better description and you understand going into it what you're going to get. And I know a lot of people in the romance book community prefer open door sex scene romance books. I do too. But as long as I know going into a book that it's a closed door book or you know, fade to black or whatever, I'm actually okay with it because I've mentally prepared myself for that's the kind of story that I'm going to get. I like other terms than sweet and clean. Oops, I lied, and I don't have 6, I have 5 because I can't count. I blame being stuck in the middle of a 12-week term of school. My final bugbear is stupid third act breakups. Look, occasionally a third act breakup can add some drama and some flair and whatnot, and in the hands of the right author it can be done really well, and I don't want to throw the book across the room or, you know, whack myself on the head with my Kindle. But quite often the third act breakup is absolutely unnecessary, and it's usually because we just decide that we want all of our characters to be bad communicators. As someone who is a bad communicator, okay, yeah, I get that. I feel that deeply. But I don't necessarily want that in my romance because I want to believe that humanity and human beings can actually communicate effectively with one another. Like, that's the hopeful part of me. So things like miscommunication or making an assumption about somebody instead of actually sitting down and having a conversation with the person that you are supposedly in love with, right? I don't know why we do that. Like, that just seems counterintuitive to everything else that we've built up in a story. So yes, stupid third act breakups are 100% something that I don't like. And I am really pleased to see that we are getting more books without third act breakups where the conflict is something external to the relationship or where the characters are separated but have not broken up. They have the opportunity to sort of reconcile whatever is going on without it being a full-on, I have to grovel because I've done something terrible. So yes, those are some things that have just been weighing on my mind. And I don't know if they made any sense because I'm not the most articulate person when it comes to this, because usually I am quite literally just, thanks, I hate it, let's not do this. Like, that's where I am with a lot of it. What terms in the romance community irritate you? Like, I would like to know. Surely I'm not the only one with some of these. I know I'm not, in fact, but some of them are very specifically me. But yes, feel free to let me know any terms or phrases that irritate you down below. I'm sure I'll have a part 2 of this at some point because it's like every week I'm adding something to this list. If you just want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave a heart emoji down below. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye.